What if you had to choose one bike format for all your biking needs? Give it a listen. Before that, don't forget to subscribe and comment.
So, friends, a very good evening, and today I'm going to talk about what has been my experience with my current motorcycle for the last 1 year. So, I've covered about 13,000 kilometers on my G310 GS in the last 1 year, and I'm not new to biking, so I've been riding motorcycles probably when I was in the 8th standard, so that's more than 2 decades. And so I have a fair bit of experience riding at least motorcycles in the category of 200, 300, 400 cc. So I would like to talk about if you are living in a city like say Bangalore or Mumbai or Delhi, I guess they are not very different in the kind of situations that you'll be facing, the road conditions, etc., and the traffic situations. So if you have to just have one bike in your garage, which one should it be and what kind of bike should it be? And after having used bikes for so many years, I think I'm fairly convinced that if you have to buy a bike and it's going to be the only bike in your garage, I think it's got to be an ADV format of bike. Why, I'll tell you. Number one, an ADV bike is best suited for roads where the roads are not in the best of conditions. I mean, broken roads, uneven roads, roads with bumpy conditions, road with waterlogged roads, whatever it is. So, what an ADV bike gives you, it gives you a very good ground clearance. It gives you a fantastic suspension, a long travel suspension. So, you're going to overcome most of these problems. You're riding an ADV. The second reason, number two, is that an ADV bike seats you pretty high, so you have a very good view of the road ahead of you. So in a very traffic congested situation, you can see much further ahead than people sitting on their Activas or probably in a cruiser or some different format of bike. So you can actually have a good view of the road ahead and the traffic situation ahead. And sometimes I think it plays a psychological game with you. So you feel you are more in control of the road situation if you are, although it's more psychological than practical, but I think it does make a difference. So you will feel that you are in better control of the traffic, and if you are sitting on an ADV bike rather than some other format of bike. And the third reason probably will not drive you about only in the city or the urban conditions. There will be weekends when you would like to venture out with your friends or on a solo ride, and you would probably like to travel the distance. It may be 200, 300, 400, or even 700 kilometers. I have done those kind of distances. And you will need a bike which is comfortable for those kind of distances, which has a very good riding position and a very good supple, soft suspension that absorbs everything. So I think the best bike that suits this kind of conditions is an adventure vehicle. So I think any kind of ADV format of bike is best suited for most of these conditions. For example, if I have to compare it with a cruiser is very good if you have a very smooth road, very fantastic tarmac, and you are covering the distance. It has relaxed sitting position. It's fantastic. But in India, you rarely find those kind of roads, except in some of the open highways or expressways. In the expressways, anyways, you're not allowed to ride a bike. In some of the highways, you have those kind of conditions. But then, when you're back to the city, or when you're back to some kind of a off-road or semi-off-road kind of situation, that's probably not the best bike format to be on. The other bike format is a street bike. This, I think, comes next to an ADV bike as an all-purpose bike, because a street bike once again gives you a lot of agility within the city. In fact, it's more agile than even the ADV format of bikes, most of the street bikes in this category that I'm talking about. So street bikes are very good when it comes to the city riding conditions, but once again, I don't know how comfortable they are for covering long distances. Secondly, they don't have such a long travel suspension as an adventure format of bike, so that will probably give you some kind of a limitation when you are covering roads which are not really ideal, which are broken, or you are getting into some kind of a off-roading or soft-roading kind of condition. Okay, there probably an ADV bike will be a better alternative over a street bike. Of course, I love street bikes. I used to own a Yamaha FZ 250, and I used to love it the way it used to ride. I think these are the main reasons why I would recommend anybody going for a one bike in their garage in an urban condition in a metropolis in India. I would recommend that you go for an adventure format of bike. There are few options right now. You can go for the Xpulse 200 if you think it's kind of you have a limited budget or you would like to lower cc bike is okay for you. But if you are looking at more highway capability, you can go for the ADV 390 or the GS 310. These are the options with you. Unfortunately, above that, we do not have too many options right now in the adventure category. But I'll tell you, I don't have the numbers exactly, but I'm sure that the adventure format of motorcycles are picking up phenomenally. So I am part of a riding group, and most of the people who have been buying bikes recently in the group have been buying the ADV format of bikes. Okay, so I would recommend going for an adventure bike if you're okay with the height, because once again, if your height is less than 5'7" or 5'8", I'm not saying that you cannot handle an ADV bike, and it's absolutely skill based. I know someone who is lower than 5.5, and he handles an ADV 390 with much better skills than anyone I know of. So it's more of a skill thing, but nonetheless, an ADV bike generally has a high ground clearance and a high seat height, ranging from 835 mm to 855 mm. So you need to be reasonably tall to be to handle the bike comfortably. At least you are above 5'7" or 5'8". I think you'll be able to manage it. You may still not be able to flat foot exactly, but you'll be able to handle the bike. That's my suggestion. Rest I leave it on you, and you can put your feedback or your thoughts in the comment section and let me know whether what I say is making sense to you or you have some other opinion and maybe some logic which I have not seen actually. I look forward to your responses.